This meeting is being recorded.
All right, so we're back after a little week and a half delay or so. Got a little busy. But yeah, R&J Sports Pod, episode 2. Today, obviously I'm Ryan, that's Josh. We're going to be going over some NBA hot takes today that we found on the internet. This is some of the stuff we love to talk about. We're each going to have 3 hot takes we enjoyed looking at, and 3 we didn't like, and we're going to go in depth. We're going to explain them. Anything you want to say, Josh, before we get started?
We have 3 more episodes scheduled to come out today, tomorrow, and Friday. But yeah, this is a great idea we found. I think it's been extremely fun and funny. And, we agree and disagree, and we will discuss. So I'm ready.
All right, man. You want to go first? You could do whatever you want to do. The ones you like, ones you dislike. What do you want to get started with?
This is one I am extremely passionate about, man.
That you agree with.
That I agree with. Jeremy Lin did more for New York than KD, Kyrie, and Harden. Hear me out. Boom. So in that season, the Knicks started out 8-15. Okay. After they started out 8-15, Jeremy Lin came in, ran the show. They went 8-1. Okay, got them to 500, 16-16. Some memorable moments out of that, 9-game stretch. It was from February 4th to February 19th.
Yeah.
They went 8-1. Yeah, the Raptors game, the game win against the Raptors. Yeah. If you recall, remember that was on the road.
The deep 3.
The Raptors fans, the deep 3, they won the game. Not the buzzer, but like 3 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
Raptors fans went wild, went nuts on the road for a New Yorker. Remember that. Don't forget the 38 ball against the Lakers on Kobe's head. Kobe was like, "Oh, I don't know who this dude is, Jeremy Lin." And then after the game, Kobe said he balled out. During that 9-game stretch, Jeremy Lin averaged 25 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals on 50, 33, 70 splits.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, listen, memorable moments. Name one memorable moment that Kyrie, Harden, and KD had together.
Together? As a unit?
Head. Yeah.
I can name individuals.
Yeah, individuals, but as what they did for New York, I bet you New York fans are still living off of this Jeremy Lin Linsanity moment. There's a documentary that came out about it. Top of the head, Raptors game winner, 38 versus the Lakers. He did more for New York than Kyrie,
I think that's fair, but
that's my case.
I think that's fair, but Durant and Kyrie are obviously still in Brooklyn. They're
Kyrie. I'm saying Kyrie, KD, and Harden, the big 3. Not Kyrie and KD.
Oh, okay, yeah. See that. I actually agree. Then, if you're talking about the big three as a unit,
yep.
It's not. It's obviously it's not because Jeremy Lin's a better player than those guys. There was some
right.
Kyrie with his, I don't know, Harden struggling with injuries.
If anything, the big 3 brought more pain than excitement because, like, all you hear is, "Oh, do they play games?"
They played what 13 games together?
They won, but in the playoffs they barely played, and then when they did, they got bounced. This 9-game stretch meant more to New York than.
See, but here's the thing: we saw them all together in the playoffs 2 years back. They dominated the Celtics when they played all together.
Right.
But then Harden injured his hamstring.
Right.
And Kyrie injured his ankle. Yeah.
And that was it.
So I mean, obviously there's factors that attribute to that, injuries, all that. But from what you're saying, I mean,
it comes to mind when you think of Kyrie, KD, and Harden, in my opinion, is disappointment. Think about
based on how they were supposed to perform, and then with all the injuries.
Do you remember the Kings game when Harden 4 points disappeared?
Right.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. The Kyrie, the stuff with the COVID, whatever. But first thing that comes to mind is disappointment. And first thing that comes to mind with Linsanity would be insanity, So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right, let's hear one from you, man.
Final thought with that. I mean, it's just, the big 3 did disappoint, obviously, like we're saying, injuries, yada, 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 but it didn't live up to nearly what it should have.
Right.
All right. So since you were on the topic of a one you like that you agree with, I'm going to go on one that I do. That's basically, if you take all-time centers and you look at it from a skill standpoint, I saw this on Twitter. The top 3 most skilled centers of all time are Hakeem Olajuwon, Nikola Jokic, and Joel Embiid. Those are my top 3 skilled. I think Olajuwon is the most skilled player of all time in general on both sides of the court. Um, Obviously, he could step out for a mid-range. He dominates inside on the post. I think he's the best defender of all time. Um, then you go to Jokic, most offensively skilled center of all time, and I don't think it's close. The way he can control a game with his elite playmaking, with his scoring, with his rebounding, everything he does. Of course, there's a little his defense is iffy, but you know, I think his numbers speak for themselves. I think the Nuggets are going to be great this year. He's got Murray and Porter back. I think they're all going to play off each other and play well. Then obviously you got Joel Embiid, one of the best ball handlers for a center we've ever seen. He can take it down the court. He can handle the ball. He can step into a three. He can make out of the post. He can obviously play in the post, score in the post. He's a good playmaker. So that's how I see it. But based on just skill, that's my top three, and then followed by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Karl Anthony Towns at 4 and 5.
I was going to say that
for you because
another thing I don't want to say is these hot takes we have, we did not discuss beforehand. So
right,
I didn't know that you were going to say that. You didn't know I would say my Jeremy Lin one. I like the Cat one. You know, like obviously skill. Like, you know, Shaq's not gonna be in the skill. Obviously, he's gonna be a great center.
Dominance is a whole different thing. He's by far the most dominant center. But
I 1,000% agree with your top three, and I like the Cat at 5. You know, so
just based on being like skill, like all around basketball players, I think that's my top 5.
Right.
And I might even go as far as putting Towns at 4, just because of his his offensive skill set. But I don't think. I mean, it could be argued, but I'm gonna keep him at 5. I'm gonna put Kareem at 4.
Right. So I mean, just think about the things these dudes are doing, man. Like shooting threes, like these centers, like you said in our last episode. Jokic is one of the best playmaking centers. He's one of the best playmakers of all time. Honestly, like these things are doing, like taking the ball up the court, shooting threes. If you were to show the dude in the 1980s, 1970s clips of Embiid, Jokic, Cat, they'll be like, "What is this? This is like witchcraft," you know. So
it's crazy. And when you break it down, it's just everything they do. Obviously, like you said, it's with Jokic, he makes playmaking look easy. He's like a point guard trapped in a center's body.
Right.
Embiid is one of the best scorers in the NBA.
I mean, the first center to win a scoring title since Shaq.
And Shaq.
The things that Shaq and Embiid did. I mean, Embiid kind of resembles Shaq in the inside, but like think about the stuff he does on the outside. You know.
Plus, Embiid's an all defensive first team caliber player. If Gobert didn't exist, he'd be all defensive first team every year, pretty much. But yeah, and then obviously Hakeem Olajuwon, his numbers, his accolades, they speak for themselves. I think he's the most skilled player on both sides of the court.
I have a hot take to your hot take.
Go ahead.
Following maybe in the top 10 might be Bam. I mean, you've seen the videos of Bam, you know, of like shooting threes now, the playmaking he adds, the defensive versatility. I mean, if you want to go off the skill of a center, Bam might be, you know, if he takes that next leap in his offensive game, he can be in that top 10.
I love that you said Bam Adebayo. I'm going to talk about him here in a little bit, but I want to save that for when I talk about him. But all right, man. So those are the first two. Do you want to? Yeah, you could go ahead with your next one. What do you think?
So do you want to go like agree or disagree?
I think we should go 1-1. So we did ones we agree with. Now let's do a disagree one. You want to do that?
Yep. All right. This is another one. I am very excited for it.
Okay.
I 1,000,000,000% disagree with this. Damian Lillard is a better pure tweeter than KD. I disagree. He's not.
Pure tweeter?
Pure tweeter, okay?
Tweet on on Twitter.
Yes. Kevin Durant is the most interesting. Like, I don't have words to see. When I see his tweets, they just make me smile, laugh. It's like a regular person tweeting. Like, these dudes shouldn't be doing this. You know, like all the criticism, the attention he gets.
He's hilarious.
Bro, no one even comes close to his tweets. I just have some tweets. Like there's some tweets on my, that I have from history. Okay, the time he went at it with Shannon Sharpe, right?
Oh,
Shannon
dear God.
The time Shannon Sharpe blocked him on Twitter because they were going at it, and Shannon Sharpe is obviously a host on Undisputed.
Yeah.
The time he went at it with Michael Rappaport.
Oh my God! Do you remember that whole fiasco?
Yeah,
that was bad, bro.
The time he would go to people he was arguing with on Twitter, and he would go to their girlfriend's Twitter follow them, and like their tweets. And the reason he said he does is, I did it just to piss people like you off. That's
Right.
some menace stuff, okay?
He
Damian
also
Lillard would never do that.
I saw that he has like over 15,000 tweets. And
Right. Oh yeah.
he by far has like the most in the NBA. He's active on there. He doesn't make burner accounts. He just I think he may, but like he says
Well, he
whatever
used
he
to.
wants.
Well, that's one of the things I had.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, listen. Somebody called him out for going to his girlfriend's page and following him, liking him. KD said, "My bad. I accidentally pressed follow and liked all her pics. My phone tripping."
Hey man. And
All right.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
see Damian Lillard
Oh yeah, you don't see. I
nearly
mean,
as
obviously,
much on
yeah.
Twitter as I
Right,
do
right, right,
Kevin
right.
Durant.
Someone called him out. No, it's supposed to call out. So KD made an account. Okay, it was called Cole Cashwell, and the bio was just H. Okay, the name was just H. He
Okay.
said, "Man, I respect the hell out of you, but give me one legitimate reason for leaving OKC other than getting a championship." This was after they won their first championship in Golden State.
Mhm.
KD says on his account, he didn't like the organization or playing for Billy Donovan. His roster wasn't that good. It was just him and Russ. So he made an account to set himself up to answer a
To
question.
answer a question that people want.
That's psychotic. I give him respect though, because like
That's hilarious though.
and
That's
he's gotten to the point where he like fully embraces the villain and the Twitter like fiascos. He would just respond to random dudes on a Wednesday night at 7 p.m. after a game.
and he'll also respond to guys like Skip Bayless. He got into
Right.
a Skip Bayless a few months ago.
Yeah. So I mean, I respect it, bro. I love it. It's awesome.
It's
fun to
very
see.
entertaining.
Because these players are people too, man. So they just like how a regular person might respond on Twitter. You don't see this anymore. And Damian Lillard, no NBA player even comes close to touching KD on the Twitter side.
He doesn't care what people think about him.
Right.
He has, like you said, he's embraced it. He defends himself. He brings up great points with everything. Maybe misunderstood in a way. I'm a little biased, but
right.
Yeah, I love that. That's hilarious. That's a great one.
So do you agree or disagree?
Oh, completely agree.
You disagree that Dame's a better tweeter.
I disagree that Dame's better.
Right.
I agree that Durant is the best, and it's not close. The best tweeter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
I think that's hilarious. All right. So the next, I'm gonna go to one that I completely disagree with, and it is that Derrick Rose is a better player than John Stockton. I saw this on, I think, the NBA Takes page you sent me on Reddit. So here's my thing. When you look at when people look at D Rose, the only thing that puts him above most like people is his MVP year. He had 2-3 really good years. Obviously, injuries are unfortunate, but and so what? He in his MVP year, which by the way, I don't think he should have won. It should have been LeBron, but Rose, he averaged what 25, 7, and 4, something like that. Bulls were the 1 seed, so I can see why he got it. But John Stockton, let's first things first. Just based on basketball, he's a better playmaker, he's a better shooter, he's better in the clutch, better in the playoffs, obviously. Way better defender. And obviously a way better playmaker too. The gap is monstrous. Rose is a better finisher. I'll give him that. Rebounding, they're about equal. They both weren't really that great rebounders. But the main thing that sticks out to me about John Stockton is he played 82 games 16 times in his 19 years. Availability is the best ability. And I know it's unfortunate with what happened to D Rose, and it's great to speculate, but I don't think you can just go out there and say he's a better player than John Stockton. I 1000% agree. John Stockton is at worst in everybody's top 10 point guards, I think, of all time. Right. It's
some can you put an argument in top 5 purely off the statistics and explain.
I mean, I don't even think we have to go into his statistics.
Right. I mean, assists and steals champ would never be touched.
No, it won't, because I think I sent you a thing a while back. I think it said like someone has to, there's some like if someone wants to break it, they have to average like 10 assists a game for like 15 years without missing like a certain amount. Like it's crazy. I want to know what you think about this, because I think this is just blasphemy. It might be just for attention.
People are living off a high on Derrick Rose's MVP season. Obviously, he's the youngest MVP of all time. I
Mhm.
mean, it was. I don't believe it was. He should have won it.
Right.
I don't think that's an extreme hot take that I 1,000,000,000% disagree with. John Stockton is clearly, the better player, the
Mhm.
better. I mean, honestly, better at everything besides finishing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Rose is
I
just a
don't think
better
it's close.
athlete.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's like I don't know how to even get into this without just you can pull up the statistics, the accomplishments. Um, I don't think Derrick Rose's MVP season is even better than John Stockton's.
right. And
Season. You know,
I meant to make a point of that. So Stockton, obviously, he never won an MVP, but he was that gold standard floor general point guard that every team wants, scrappy,
especially back then, right? Especially back
maybe
then.
even labeled dirty. Statistically, his best season, we'd say, from what I'm seeing, is probably 1990, 17 points a game, 14.6 assists per game,
Right. And how many steals? You have that with you?
2.7, so about three.
Right. So
He
Derrick Rose's MVP season was what, 23, 24?
24 or no,
Like,
25, 7 and 4, I believe.
right. That's like in today's league. I mean, that's like today's day. I'm not saying like obviously back then it's a different game, even 10 years ago compared to 20 years ago. But 25, 7 and 4 isn't even getting you top 10 consideration for the
Right.
MVP
And
anymore.
and obviously Rose had unfortunate injuries, but you can't take that away from the fact Stockton and Malone, both all NBA players for 10 years plus together. That Jazz
Right.
team got to the playoffs every year. They made finals. They lost to Michael Jordan though.
Right.
But you can't take that away from them. Stockton was a great playoff performer, and Rose just ends up as a complete what if to me. So
Right.
maybe we didn't see his full potential, but based on what we know, he is nowhere near John Stockton.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's how.
All right.
So, all right, man. Let's go.
So one I agree with. Stat padding. This is kind of I didn't see this. This is one I came up with. Stat padding is not a real thing. Okay.
It's not.
It's
I
not
agree.
real.
Go ahead.
Okay. People always like to say that people stat pad. Russell Westbrook stat pads. LeBron James stat pads. Nikola Jokic stat pads. That's not a real thing. Okay. Just because a player goes in for a rebound doesn't mean he's trying to stat pad. Okay. It's trying to get a rebound to impact the game. If everyone had that mindset that oh he can get the rebound, I'm not gonna try to stat pad, then nobody would get a rebound. Okay. I don't understand how you can stat pad for an assist because there's so much stuff that goes into getting an assist.
Your
One, you get to
shooter, your
pass the
shooter
ball.
has to get open. Your center has to get
Two,
open.
right. Exactly. That's not stat padding. That's trying to get a basket to win the game. How can you stat pad and score the ball? Isn't the objective of winning a basketball game to score the ball? I've heard so many times, oh, LeBron James stays into the fourth quarter to stat pad. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, like he's playing basketball. The thing he gets paid millions of dollars to do to score the ball. I
One,
hated the Russell Westbrook stat. Go ahead.
oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Just, I think what he did was unbelievable. 3 straight years
Right.
of averaging a triple double. It doesn't like he wasn't stat padding. How was he stat padding if his MVP year they were the 6th seed? How's
Right,
his stat padding?
exactly.
He's trying. They're not winning the amount of games they need to be winning to be at like the top of the league. Because and what do coaches teach you when you're like 5 years old?
Right.
You don't stop playing. You just
Right.
you don't like
You go.
you
get the ball
play
mentality.
until the game's
Right.
over. Like it's it's stupid to me that it's like, oh, like a player would actually be like, oh, I want my stats to look good instead of winning. I really don't think that's valid at all. But
Yeah.
do you have anything else to add to that? Because like
No,
that's
I never understood that. I don't know how a player can stat pad. Just because a player scores the ball, rebounds well, and I know at the point guard era that a lot of more point guards are getting rebounds.
right.
I mean, I think that's a good thing. Like
We're
you
also
know,
seeing
like
taller point guards as we go.
right,
Positionless basketball too.
right.
We're seeing taller guys. I I can't agree more. So I completely disagree. Stat padding I completely agree that stat padding is not real.
Right. Okay. Sweet.
All right, man. So my next one that I agree with. I think I've talked to you about this a couple times here and there, but I am a firm believer Bradley Beal is not overrated, but he is too loyal to his. and let me get into it. I know a lot of people bring up Bradley Beal being with the Wizards, not having guys around him, quote unquote. But me personally, I don't think nobody just averages 30 points a game multiple times. Bradley Beal, he's an improving passer every year. He's an elite shot maker. And he before he got injured last year, he averaged about 7 assists a game. Now, I'm not saying he's a great playmaker or anything, but his passing is getting better. And when I say too loyal, I think in today's NBA, he shouldn't have done what he did. He shouldn't have signed that max deal with Washington again, because that can paint a picture that, okay, he's content with losing. He doesn't want to go to a team. He doesn't want to contend. He just wants to stay, like, he's loyal. So that's where I get too loyal from, because I think he should have really thought about it and seek to go to a different team and kind of just have a clean slate, go to contend with someone.
Well, let me ask you, before you said he's not overrated. Well, what do you have him rated?
I have him top 25 at worst. Top 25 in the NBA at worst.
I 1,000,000,000% agree that he's overrated.
You're disagreeing with me and saying
I disagree with you. Yeah. While you were doing that, I was making my counter argument. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he is only a 3-time All-Star. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, that's
25. That's good, but that's not top 25 worthy. He's a 1-time All-NBA. His career averages are 22, 4, and 4. Okay.
His first couple years weren't that great.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna name a player. Okay. Player averages 23 and 3. Now, I'm gonna name the player. Okay. It's Colin Sexton.
Right.
So his career averages are very similar to Bradley Beal. So
Colin
I think
Sexton's
Bradley
played
Beal,
3 years, right?
Right. But what I'm saying is Bradley Beal, he's not a winning. The Wizards are what did you have the Wizards as a seed?
I
13,
have them
14?
here. I have them at 14.
14. And they have Porzingis, Kuzma, all these
But they
players.
they don't have
Right. But if Bradley Beal's a top 25 NBA player, NBA player, he should at least put you over the Pistons, right?
That's fair, but I think as an individual player, he's very talented, and he's
very talented, but he's extremely overrated. I don't think he's, for example, and you know how much I feel about Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons is a better basketball player than Bradley Beal.
overall, sure, yeah, I can see that. Because Beal's he tends to get a little lazy on defense, but when he does try, he's a good defender. Obviously, like I said, he's a great shot maker, improving passer.
I'm gonna name some players for you, and I'm gonna say better or worse. Okay. Donovan Mitchell.
Better.
Better than Bradley Beal. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Jaylen Brown.
I'm taking Beal.
Better. I'm taking Brown.
Okay.
Scotty Barnes.
For now, Bradley Beal. For now.
Okay. Darius Garland.
Bradley Beal.
Zach LaVine.
Wow. That's tough. Zach LaVine.
See, I understand that, but like Zach LaVine, like, dude, I think they're both overrated.
I think DeRozan's more overrated than LaVine is.
Right. I do. Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram's better.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram.
All right. Paul George. Okay.
Paul George is a borderline top 10, 11, 12 player for me.
I think Bradley Beal is closest to like someone like Shea. I think Shea is close to Bradley Beal than Bradley Beal is closest to that top national.
That's
player.
Fair. Yeah, that's
just my opinion.
But I just think, like, as an individual player, he's fantastic, and I just don't like that people say people said his 30 points a game were stat padding and empty stats, and he was taking more shots than he needed to when they were up by this much or that much.
He can score the ball. Don't get me wrong, he can score the ball, but in today's era, it's not that hard to score.
And hey, man, I'm not disagreeing. I think I could see a fall off. Like, he could drop more spots with the talent coming in, and he's getting better. But I just don't think over the past few years. I
want to see him do it with the playoff team. Like, besides when he played with John Wall, he wasn't averaging 30 points.
He hadn't reached his peak yet.
Right, but I want to see him while he's at his peak, do it on a good team. You know,
and that's why it's a bad look that he signed that contract with Washington. Well, he signed that
Right.
extension.
right,
But
right.
that's how I see it. I mean, obviously these are hot takes. We're not meant to always agree with
Right.
each other, but
Yeah, right.
I think that's very interesting. That's a very good conversation. So, all right, man, go ahead with your next one.
It's the one I disagree with.
Okay.
Trae Young is a much, that's what I read it, a
Mhm.
much better offensive player than Luka. That is blasphemy, okay? I don't have to get into statistics or anything. I'm not even going to get into anything like that. Luka
Dude,
Doncic is a better scorer in every asset. He's a better shooter, in my opinion. I think he's a better shooter. I think he's a better shooter. Only thing
you
Trae Young
see,
has is free
I
throw
wanted to
shooting,
touch on
okay?
that. I want to touch on that. Just because someone has a better percentage from
Percentage.
three doesn't mean they're a
Luka
better
shoots-
shooter.
Right.
But
Luka shoots yeah. I guess you can look at percentage and say Trae Young's a better shooter, but by watching the game, Luka is better. I think he's a better shooter, better playmaker. He gets to the rim better.
Mhm.
His impact offensively, like the way people guard Luka, the things he has to. I mean, obviously Trae Young has to do a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing Trae Young. I think he's a great offensive player,
Yeah.
but I think Luka is the better offensive player by a pretty decent margin.
Yeah. And it's me personally, I may give the shooting to Trae Young, but still, Trae Young, what? Sure, he averaged like one more assist or something than him, but that doesn't make him a better playmaker.
Right.
People get tangled up with assist averages correlating to playmaking, where it's about how you control the game, how you evolve.
I want to make a point. Okay, so not living off that time they made the conference finals, but looking back at last year, what did Trae Young average against the Heat? Like 12 points?
12 and a half points, I think, 13 and a half, something like that.
Yeah. Well, see, when it gets down to when it gets down to it, right? Like teams can focus in and guard Trae Young.
Mhm.
You will never, ever, ever see Luka average 12 points in a series. I mean, Luka's literally one of the best playoff performers of all time.
As it stands, he averages the most points per game in the playoffs.
Right. So just looking off of that, you can clearly tell that Luka's a better offensive player, and it's not really close.
Trae Young, to me, he settles too much for deep jumpers. His decision making isn't the greatest. He's very talented. He like you said, he led the league in total points and total assists. Yeah, he's great offensively, but he's not on that level of Luka. Luka can beat you in every way. He can take you in the post. He'll back you down and score. He'll do his step backs from three. And you never know if he'll like dish it off to a teammate. Like, he is one of the most unguardable players we have ever seen. And he would never, ever be contained like Trae Young was like in that Heat series last year.
I 1,000% agree.
For my next one that I disagree with, it's going to involve Trae Young a little bit, but I saw this on Twitter. It says that Ja Morant is the best point guard in the NBA. To me, at face value, that like, I mean, I'm sure everyone will just be like, no. But I kind of want to explain something here. So the guys I have better than Ja, I've got Luka at 1, Curry, and Trae Young as my top 3. And then I have Ja as the 5th best point guard in the league. I have James Harden at 4. And let me explain why. First things first, at an anticipatory standpoint, Harden looks great. He looks in great condition. Says his hamstring's not bothering anymore. Now we have to see it and so last year, Harden 22, 10, and 8, his worst season of his career since his prime at 22, 10, and 8. His field goal percentage was down and his 3-point percentage was down. But if you look at it at face value, Ja Morant, James Harden's a better playmaker. He's a better all-around scorer, I think. He's better from the mid-range and from 3. I'll give Ja finishing, obviously. He's a better rebounder. And so I'll give Ja defense, but it's not by like a huge margin. They're both not great defenders. Ja has made some blocks and stuff because of his athleticism. But the Grizzlies were 20-2 without Ja Morant. I think that also Ja's an overrated playmaker, so to say. Again, people have said like, oh yeah, he got most improved. He averaged 7, almost 8 assists, this and that. But just as he I'll say he's a good passer, but as a playmaker, I think he's overrated. And I think that because I consider Harden a point guard with him on the Sixers, and I just think he's better at all those things, and he just adds more to a team.
I agree. With a lot of your players, James Harden, I can see it. I'm gonna add a player. Damian Lillard is better. Okay?
I have it written down right here. I have Lillard for now, just based on point guards in the NBA at 6 because of his injury. When he comes back, I have him top 15 in the league, right?
Right. So exactly. So listen, Damian Lillard's been playing with this injury for the past 5 seasons. He's got. Okay. I'm gonna go on a limb. Okay, you can look back in 10 months from now. I guarantee you, Damian Lillard is an All NBA player by the end of the year if he does not get injured.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard is that guy. Okay, he's gonna average probably 20 to 30 points, maybe a play-in team. Obviously, John Morant is great. I think he is overrated though. I think the record speaks for itself just based off impact of being 22. But yeah, I think a lot of your players are there. I mean, the top 4 is unquestionable. I think Luka, Curry,
and mind you, this 20-2 is no small sample size. That's 22
right,
games.
A fourth of the season, basically.
Yeah.
It's basically 25 season, right?
But like you said, the list that I provided with that top 5 is simply at this moment in time for me. I fully expect. I think Damian Lillard will be the 3rd best point guard in the league when this season is over. I think it'll be Luka, Curry, and Dame as the top 3. But
I agree.
So I'm glad you brought that up because I had actually forgot to bring it up. So that's basically it for that. Yeah. So all right, go ahead, man.
3rd and last one we agree with, right?
Yeah.
I had 2 written down, but I'm gonna go with the one I'm most passionate about.
All right.
Kyrie Irving is one of the most overrated players of all time. You know how I feel about Kyrie Irving. Okay?
I do. Yeah.
I get it. Okay, he's skilled. He can dribble the ball better than most people. He can shoot. He can finish the ball better than most people. But what does that translate to? Well, it translates to he in the regular season is 204 and 224 in the regular season without LeBron James. Okay, so that's a pretty big sample size. Okay, that's over the course of 8, 9 years, 7 to 8 years without LeBron James, whatever how many years he played. Okay, he's 20 games under the regular season without LeBron James. Okay, he's 132 and 51 with LeBron James in the regular season. Okay, so based off that, all that skill translates to absolutely nothing without LeBron James. He's 11-11 in the playoffs without LeBron James. He is 39-13 in the playoffs with LeBron James. Okay, he's a 7-time All-Star and 3-time All-NBA. Okay, cool, right? Well, from what I've heard, that Kyrie Irving is a top 75 player. a top 10 point guard of all time. The most skilled player of all time. Well, let me counter that. Okay,
go ahead.
People with the same or more All-NBAs than Kyrie Irving are just in the league now.
Yeah.
Point guards. Luka.
Right.
Dame.
Luka 3 straight All-NBA first teams.
Right. In 15 years.
Russ.
Right. So I'm keep going. Luka, Dame, Russ, Curry, Chris Paul, and James Harden. Those are point guards in the NBA right now. Right now, in the NBA right now, okay, that have more All-NBAs than Kyrie Irving. But I've heard Kyrie Irving's the most skilled player of all time, the most skilled point guard of all time, the best point guard in the league. He's a top 10 point guard of all time. That's not even counting other point guards in past history that are better than him, okay? So, I mean,
guys like Steve Nash, Jason Kidd.
Right. Stockton, Isaiah Thomas.
Magic.
Yeah. So just going off the eye test, whatever, the eye test, right? He can dribble better than you can. He can shoot. He can finish from any spot in the court. He can do all this, all that. But why does it not translate to winning? He is extremely overrated. I made a point earlier before the playoff. I think Jrue Holiday is a better player than Kyrie Irving.
He provides more. He provides a better impact.
You're trying to win a game, trying to win a championship. You do not want Kyrie Irving on your team unless you have LeBron James. And I stand by that.
And I want to build on that. Remember when he went to Boston and severely underwhelmed with
4 for 18. I 4 for 18. What did he say after the game? I promise that won't ever happen again. What did he do in the next game? I think it was 4 for 19.
So
that dude is hilarious.
When they lost in the playoffs in 2019, 4-1 to Milwaukee in the semis. You tell me if this is Kyrie Irving level play. 20.4 points a game, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, right? And field goal percentage, 35.6%, 21.9% from 3. That was on the Boston team that was supposed to be
Hey,
better than
well, you just asked me, do I think that is Kyrie Irving play? I do think that's
Well-
Kyrie Irving play. He did it again against he did it in the last playoff series against the Celtics. right?
Exactly. And on the numbers last year against the Celtics, it says he averaged like 21, 5 and 5, but he had 35 in game 1, I believe, and then nothing after that.
That is Kyrie Irving play though. He will get you your 20, but it might look the 20 points he might get. It will look extremely pretty. But he's a ball stopper. He's not a great facilitator. He's a great scorer, I guess. He's not a great defender, and he's awful in the locker room. So in my opinion, he might be the most. I don't want to say the most overrated player of all time, but he is definitely. Never get into an argument with a Kyrie Irving stan. Okay, they should say he was better than Steph Curry. That is ridiculous. Okay, that is blasphemy. Not even close.
I see people say Kyrie should have been an MVP. When?
Never.
But he was outside of the top 10 in MVP voting. Like
He's never had a vote. I believe. He's
Yeah.
never had a vote.
his best statistical year, I guess was last year but he played 29 games, so that doesn't really.
Go to the year before,
so-
50, 40, 90 years.
So yeah, he had 54 games, 27, 6 and 5, which is
Another thing is, okay, it's easier to score and put up these stats when you are missing every other game, right? Try to do that over the course of 70, 80 games, okay?
yeah.
People were freaking out when he was scoring 50 points a game, coming off missing 5 games in a row. Yeah, because your body's rested. You're not going to the mental, physical, and all that tool that a season puts on you. So it is easier to put up more points.
He is not a number 1 option, and he had to play sidekick to get success. I mean, he goes to Boston after Cleveland and just goes downhill from there, man. Maybe not statistically, but in the locker room and in the playoffs for sure. I mean,
and
never
a lot of people, the reason it is a hot take is people don't usually agree with this, okay? People do think Kyrie Irving is one of the best players of all time.
everyone likes
Most
to hang
skilled
on
player.
to his shot in Game 7. It was fantastic, great shot. But
Look, that was with LeBron, okay? I was in the 4 years with LeBron. He was amazing. But outside of those 4 years, I gave you the numbers of winning, the stats. I mean, it's speak for itself.
LeBron, he's not there. I don't. It's. I completely agree that he is incredibly overrated. All right, man. Is that all you have to say for that one?
Yeah.
All right. So one here I agree with. We talked about this recently. This is what I saw. It said LaMelo Ball does not play winning basketball, and he is not as good as people think.
I seen that.
I completely agree. First things first, 2 years, we didn't see any improvement from year 1 to year 2. I know it's been 2 years, but still, usually you see a jump from guys who are as highly scouted as LaMelo Ball.
Right.
He's quote unquote too flashy in a way for me. A lot of the times, I mean, obviously we'll see him all over House of Highlights, House of LaMelo, obviously.
Right.
He'll make his behind the back passes. He'll do his under the legs passes. You said this, his ceiling is a second option. He is not a first option. He will not be a guy who can carry a team to a finals. He just won't be that guy. I don't see it. I think Anthony Edwards is much better at basketball than he is. We're seeing great improvement for him. LaMelo, I said, that's why I have him in like the late 40s, I think, for players coming into next year. I just don't see the hype, man. I don't at all.
I agree. I think
Yeah.
LaMelo, like obviously it's fun to watch, but there's
Mhm.
been no leap. I think his ceiling is. I don't think he can elevate a team to be great or even like good. I think he's a floor raiser,
Not a ceiling raiser. Yep.
Right. I think he will always be a player that will get you 18, 8, and 8. I mean, that's good, but
Yeah.
I don't think he could be a second option. I think he needs to be a third option on the good.
Really?
Great.
See, now that's another hot take on top. Like,
I don't see it, bro. Like he's a great point guard, but he can facilitate good, but it's flashy. It's not efficient.
I'm trying to think of like a team where he'd fit best. Like obviously it's not Charlotte. I mean,
Yeah.
we have way too much to rebuild on, and oh man, I don't know, man. Like I just don't know with him. It's hard, man. He's a good individual player, but he's shown me no signs of improvement. And until I see it, I'm going to keep this opinion.
Well, we won't see it for a while because he's out for a couple of weeks.
Plus he got hurt again. But
I
that
think
one's
Lonzo might even add more to a team than LaMelo.
He does. Lonzo's one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. He's a terrific shooter too. But great facilitator. He's got heart. Unfortunately, with him, he might miss the season with his leg injury. That's another thing. But yeah, LaMelo, man, people I see all the time saying he's going to be an all-time great point guard. He's like the next Magic, so to say.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I have for that, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, man.
All right. So the one I have an argument here, but it's not really one I disagree. It wasn't like really a hot take. I'm just gonna go off topic here. I'm not topic, but I'm gonna go off trajectory because I do want to argue this. Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of a hot take I made up. It's not one I disagree with. I think Kobe Bryant is better than Larry Bird. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off this. Okay. The original hot take that I seen was that Larry Bird is better than Magic Johnson, and I disagree with that. Okay. But the one I'm gonna go towards is Kobe and Bird. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So Kobe Bryant. Okay. I'm gonna start with Larry Bird. Larry Bird's a 12-time All-Star, a 3-time champ, a 10-time All-NBA, a 3-time MVP, a 2-time Finals MVP, a 1-time All-Star MVP. His career averages are 24, 10, and 6. His peak season was 39 and 6. He has 21,791 career points, 5,695 career assists, and 8,974 career rebounds.
Gotcha.
Over a course of 12 seasons.
12 years.
Kobe Bryant, 18-time All-Star. So 6 more All-Stars. He is a 2-time scoring champ, a 5-time NBA champ, a 15-time All-NBA, 1-time MVP. But we both know 2005 and 2006.
Should be a 2-time MVP.
Yeah, or at least 2-time MVP.
Yeah.
2-time Finals MVP and 4-time All-Star MVP with career averages of 25, 5, and 5. His best season, he averaged 35, 5, and 5. He has 33,643 career points, 6,306 assists, and 7,047 rebounds for his career. That was over the course of 20 seasons.
Right.
So, strictly off accolades, Kobe wins. Strictly off statistics for a career, Kobe wins. Peak season, Kobe wins. And longevity, Kobe wins. So, I believe Kobe's a better player than Bird.
Like you say with or like I said with the Stockton and D Rose argument, availability is the best ability.
Right.
Kobe played 20 years. Bird, again, unfortunate. After like his 11th, 12th year, had to wear like a 10, 15-pound back brace to play because he was like his back was so messed up. I personally, we've talked about this in the past months. I've come to agree. Kobe Bryant's my favorite player of all time. I do think that he is better than Bird, and that would probably move Bird to around 7 or 8 on my all-time list.
I don't believe Kobe's top 5 though. I believe Kobe is around that.
I don't think Kobe's better than. Go ahead.
Right. I believe 6 through 9 on the all-time list is very you can interchange,
flexible,
right?
Yeah.
So I think the top 3 is undisputable. Number 4, I don't believe Kobe's better than Duncan, which is it's a weird. The 5 through 10 or even 4 through 10 is like very, very,
See, I mean, obviously LeBron, Jordan, Kareem are top 3 undisputed for me. Magic's 4. Kobe's not better than Magic.
Right. Right. So exactly. So I think Magic is 4.
I'm sorry, I have Curry 4, but
right.
Go ahead.
It's weird, I think Curry's better than Magic. I believe right now. I think Curry will be 4 when it's all said and done. I believe Magic. It's just weird. Okay, that's weird.
But I brought that up real quick. I brought that up because I did not mean to say Magic is 4. I brought that up because you had the Larry Bird is better than Magic take and kind of played off that. I have Magic at 5. Curry's at 4.
Right.
You know why I think that.
Probably. I believe 6 is Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
7 might be Kobe, and 8
it would be Bird. Probably Bird.
And then probably Hakeem, Shaq.
And then I go Hakeem, and then Wilt, or Hakeem, then Shaq. It changes, man. It's tough, but go ahead.
So that's to the point. I believe Kobe's better than Bird.
Right.
Obviously, if Bird played more seasons, it could change, but we don't know. So
And
just going off careers, I think Kobe's a better player than Bird.
you've kind of helped me help me, so to say,
Yeah,
change my
see,
mind
yeah, I
on
remember
this.
we had this talk. We had this talk. Yeah, we had this. So
Yeah, man. What Kobe again, a better defender. Kobe's a fantastic defender.
yeah,
He was
if you have any questions about this, just watch the Redeem Team documentary, and it will change your mind.
Kobe Bryant, man, my favorite player ever. I have come to not accept but believe that he is better than Bird. Did it for longer, and then sure he may have been inefficient, but he had that killer mentality.
Right.
He would let it fly. He was a scorer. Also, we have a buddy who might disagree with this, but
Oh yeah, whatever.
but yeah, we'll talk to him behind the scenes about it. But yeah, man, I think that's great, and that could cause a lot of conversation here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
All
your
right.
last one.
so the last one, kind of touched on it earlier. I saw that Bam Adebayo is extremely overrated. That is what was said, and I
You disagree?
completely disagree. Completely. Bam Adebayo is an elite defender on the interior and on the perimeter. He's 6'9". He's got that like forward size. He's quick for his size. He can guard anyone. If he wanted to, he could guard 2 through 5 certainly. And getting switched on screens, he doesn't have a problem at all when it's.
Well, that's a great point. I think people like he's an elite facilitator as well.
I'm gonna get to
I
that.
think people are. Sorry, go ahead. Let me make your point,
Yeah.
and then I'll make my point.
Yeah, go. Yeah, so I have. He's a great playmaker, great facilitator, especially in the post. I like when they enter it down to him in the high post or down by the free throw line, and he'll go in the post and he'll play make. He'll kick out to someone. However, what I do say, I think he needs to attack more sometimes. I
Right.
think he takes a step back from scoring a lot. We've seen him in the playoffs. We've seen him go off, and then we saw him last year. There were a couple games where he didn't really shoot at all.
Right.
Plus an improving 3 ball, which if he can shoot at like an average clip, oh my God, like he's going to be a depoy candidate again. I think he's a fantastic player. Yeah. So go ahead and say what you were going to say.
I want to make a point. I think people get overrated, and the Miami Heat ask him to do certain things confused. Like the Miami Heat don't ask him to drop 30 a game. I mean, we've seen it when he wants to, he can. Like I think he's 20, 10, and 6, and that's all they need him to do. That's all they ask him to do. The Miami Heat is a very do by committee team. If he went to a team, I don't want to name any teams, just like if he went to a team that needed him to demand him to do more things, I think he could do. I think he can easily average 24 to 26 points.
Oh yeah,
no doubt. You see, he's expanding his game to the 3-point line, shooting more threes this season. I think he's top 5 center in the league easy.
Yeah. And with him, obviously, like you said, he'll 20, 10, 6. He'll give you a couple blocks a game too. Obviously, like you said, great defender. And with him, shoots like from the field almost 60%. He's efficient when he shoots. An average night for him is 7 or 8 for 13, which is really good. And especially he steps out into the mid range. Obviously, he likes that floater around the mid range area too. He's just a great player all around, man. And I just don't know where the overrated argument came from.
Right.
We've seen him, like you said, we've seen him step out and score 30, and we've seen him take a lesser role and them still win games though. His impact is fantastic.
Right. I just want to see him take the next step in shooting more shots, but I don't think that means he's overrated. I think he needs to take the next step in being
especially
more
with
initiative in offense.
Right. Jimmy Butler is not like the guy. He's not going to take 25 shots a game himself.
Right.
Like
Miami's very by committee.
Yeah. Right. Give Bam more shots. I think it'll show in his play that he can be an elite scorer. But like you said, Miami's not asking him to do that, but he very well has the ability to, in my opinion.
Right.
And that's how I see Bam.
Yep.
Yeah. Any other like things you want to touch on before we wrap it up?
I think this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. We had a lot of good hot takes, debates, topics. Yeah, you.
Yeah, man. I'd like to do something like this later. Maybe like a lot of the takes we had, like me saying that like these certain guys are better than Ja. We can touch on it mid-season, the NBA,
Right.
stuff like that. We can revisit these, but yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. So yeah, that's about it. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here.
Well, so we're gonna switch gears tomorrow. We'll have a new episode as well coming out.
Mhm.
But we're gonna switch gears to the NFL though. We will have NFL predictions, breakdowns,
Mhm.
some stuff we're gonna cover. Yeah, that's final thoughts. I just want to say one more thing: Lynn Sanity, baby.
All right, man. All right. So let's wrap it up here and we'll talk soon. All right.
Yep.